Welcome back to the Rent Check. It is your host, Francisco Rojas, along with my co-host. I can't just do that. I can't just say I'm the host. I'm here with my co-host, Ashlee Woods. She's just as important as me, if not more. Ashlee, what's going on?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. You know I'm always super 100% great with these intros. So here we go. So, Ashlee, we can't get too ahead of ourselves. Look, the Eagles beat the Broncos yesterday. Yes, Jalen Hurts had mostly a good game. Eagles won. They ran the ball a lot like they have the last 2 or 3 weeks. But Ashlee, can we not get so ahead of ourselves? Look, career backups, they are allowed to have good games. Colt McCoy came in for Arizona last week and had a big game for them, filling in for Kyler Murray. Yes, this week he didn't have a great game, but that's my whole point is look at that. Up and down. Career backups can do that. Jalen Hurts, still a career backup going forward. Yes, in the short term, they could be a playoff team this year. They could be. They could sneak in the playoffs somehow. Look, they've expanded the playoffs this year to however many teams. Look, the Eagles have a really, really light schedule coming up the next a month and a half or so here. They could get lucky and sneak into the playoffs, but still, Hurts isn't the guy long term. I'm sorry. Look, Jalen did some great things yesterday, but he also had a few turnovers. I'm just waiting for when teams are going to figure out how to stop the Eagles' run, which they haven't yet. But when they do, how is Hurts going to respond? And I still think he's not the guy long term. Long term, so don't get too excited, Ashlee Woods. Don't get too excited.
Once again, we are back at this topic, and once again, Francisco Rojas is wrong. By you saying that we should not get ahead of ourselves about Jalen Hurts being the guy, you are also getting ahead of yourself by calling him a career backup.
I'm just calling how I see it.
Which is technically getting ahead of yourself because we have only seen 13 total games, maybe 13 to 14 total games out of him, and you're like, yeah, no, he's a career backup. Stamp it, signed, sealed, delivered. But also telling people to not get ahead of themselves after a decent performance against a really good Broncos defense, the defense that has been up in the rankings this entire season. So you're contradicting yourself by saying, oh, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Jalen Hurts is good, but career backups can be good, but also he's a career backup. You're getting ahead of yourself. Like, you're contradicting yourself.
But we want the franchise guy, right? Actually, we want the franchise guy, right?
I want the franchise guy. But to sit here and label Jalen Hurts as a career backup 13 games into the season when Nick Sirianni just finally decided to game plan for him correctly, I think that's highly unfair and highly hypocritical of you to sit here and say that we should not get ahead of ourselves when you have been ahead of yourself this entire season. And that's that on that. And I'm going to leave it at that because I am so tired. I
haven't said until the last 3 weeks that he could be a career backup. I never said that the first month of the season. I never even said that in mid-October.
Okay, fair. But you now are getting ahead of yourself. You are literally sitting here telling other people, oh, let's not get ahead of ourselves. But you're ahead of yourself by labeling him a backup quarterback. Do you not understand?
Listen. The Eagles, they still don't have a real identity in my eyes. This whole season, it's been up and down, right? The first game against the Falcons, no one knew what to expect. And then, 4 or 5 weeks after that, then they're a bad football team. They don't know what they're doing. They're not running the ball. And then finally, they're running the ball, right? The last 3 weeks, and great. But teams are, I've said this the last couple of weeks, defenses are going to figure this out, and then it's going to be up to Hurts to respond, and we're gonna find out that Hurts is really what he could be going forward, which is not a franchise guy. He's not, he's not going to be, we want him to, have these, like the arm strength and the accuracy. We're going to see that going forward. Like, oh, wait, he's not the guy. That's what's going to happen going forward. That's what's going to happen eventually. I'm not saying maybe next week they could run the ball again and again and again and it might work, but eventually it's going to catch up to him. That's my whole point.
And it's eventually going to catch up to him. That may be an excellent point if, the 2017 Eagles didn't exist, the current state of the Tennessee Titans didn't exist, or they have really good run games. Of course, you have Derrick Henry in your back pocket, but they have really good schemes and they have really good run and pass balance, and their quarterback was able to still be successful when the run wasn't that great. I think Jalen Hurts can still be a good quarterback with a heavy running game, and if the game is not doing well, that's not necessarily all on him to adjust. That's also on Nick Sirianni to adjust, because you don't know what the team across from you is game planning until you get on that field on Sunday. And if you see that something ain't working, you got to go back and fix it. And it's a partnership between Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts and the rest of the offense to buy in. The identity of this team is not solely on Jalen Hurts. It is on the rest of the team. It is on the offense. It's on the defense. It's on the special teams and the coaches. For you to sit here and say that we do not have an identity because of Jalen Hurts' inconsistency, it's negating literally every other thing that is going wrong with
the entire offense inconsistency. You're right. It's not just Jalen Hurts, but Jalen Hurts is a big piece of that. And
I disagree. I think Jalen Hurts is a piece of it. I think Nick Sirianni has been a bigger piece of it, and it's mainly because he's a first-year head coach, first-time play calling, his first time being a head coach is in the NFL. There are some growing pains with that. I don't understand this whole like narrative of like, oh, let's not get ahead of ourselves, but you are getting ahead of yourself by labeling him a career backup. I just don't get with that. I would rather see him have 2 full seasons to see where we are at with his quarterback.
I understand what you're saying.
Wentz 2 full seasons.
Yeah, because he had the different talent, different potential. I don't see that.
We don't even know Jalen Hurts' potential yet because it's been so consistent because of Nick Sirianni's play calling and scheming.
Yeah, but I think even with an amazing, even if Bill Belichick was the head coach, it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter.
That is so terrible because Cam Newton has the same Cam Newton and Jalen Hurts have comparative skill sets. And Bill Belichick couldn't do nothing with him. He had to go get Mac Jones. So don't sit here and say that Bill Belichick is going to magically fix all these problems with the offense because he's just Bill Belichick. There's a lot of things going wrong with this offense. It's not just game planning. Yeah. It's not just game planning. It's injuries. It's old, decrepit, whatever. You telling the fans at home, telling the watchers, the listeners, the viewers at home that we are getting ahead of ourselves because we are enjoying a good Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, we're already talking about like the playoffs this year, and then all of a sudden, look, we got to move on. I'm just gonna finish this, and we got to move on. Look, we're a game out of the playoffs now, right?
You decided to continue. I was done 3 minutes ago. I was done, but then you decided to open your mouth again.
I'm done too. I'm sorry for being late with this. I'm sorry for being late. Can we talk about?
Let's get into this new topic. This
wonderful
topic that I brought up because I am sick and tired of talking about this nonsense. We are going to talk about DeVonta Smith and how he is as a touchdown scorer. So on the season, he has 4 touchdowns, and I think for him going into the rest of his career, he can average about 8 to 10 touchdowns and still be a decent number 1 receiver. Last year at Alabama, he had 117 receptions and 23 touchdowns. Compare that to his freshman year, where he had 2 touchdowns. One of them, of course, being in the national championship game that won Alabama the national championship, and another as a freshman, and another against Mississippi State that was also thrown to him by Jalen Hurts. But he also only had 8 catches his freshman year. I think this year is just kind of showing how is a year where he needs to kind of get adjusted into the system, like we saw at Alabama, just kind of progressing and, gradually becoming more comfortable with the system and gradually becoming that top guy in the system. But I want to know what you think, Francisco. What is DeVonta Smith's TD scoring potential? What is his ceiling?
I think, Ashlee, the crazy part is I think we're actually going to agree on this. Look, I think we saw it yesterday. Look, that first catch was unreal. Look, that was a great pass by Hurts, and it was probably even better catch by DeVonta to go up and get that against his former teammate Patrick Surtain. You know this better than I do. That was unreal. And then the second
Bama
catch
on Bama crime, Bama by Bama on Bama crime. Isn't that just beautiful? Roll Tide, built by Bama.
Yeah, I mean, you relate to it better than me. You can go sit here and talk about it all you want. But look, I think DeVonta, look, his talent, he could be a 7 to 10 touchdown guy every single year, and that could equate to being a Hall of Famer. And I would love to see a Hall of Fame equals wide receiver. So yeah, definitely. Get him the ball more in the red zone, please. Please get the ball in the red zone.
I just appreciate I appreciate that you agree with me for once in this
I appreciate
adventure.
it too.
I appreciate it because then I don't have to roast you for the next 3 minutes and tell you how wrong
Roast.
you
That
are.
was a roasting session for you.
Yes, that was a roasting session for me because you are just so ahead of yourself. But ladies and gentlemen, that is all the time that we have here today. I am Ashlee Woods, the wonderful co-host. That is Francisco Rojas, and this has
The
been your
better
lunch break.
co-host. Hey, well, real quick, we'll be at the game next week. By the way, we'll be at the
Yeah, yeah,
game.
yes, we will.
Maybe we'll do
Uh,
a live run check episode. Who knows?
maybe. That has been the
Everyone,
red check.
everyone have a great week. Go Birds.